All right, John. John, no, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
La Cañada.
Suburb of LA. Tell me about your family.
Really good family until till the divorce, but we're still all really close. Um, yeah, we were just. I thought it was a normal family till my parents got a divorce and then started having two separate families, and then my mom moved us to Park City, Utah, and that was pretty cool. She wanted to be live in a snow town, wanted to get away from my dad, So I think that was a cool thing in my life, going moving to Park City because they give you a pass, a ski pass, when you're in school there. So every weekend it'd be out on the slopes, and that was fun. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean,
Any rough spots in your childhood?
definitely some rough spots. Um, I was abused when I was younger by a friend of the family. He was also a police officer. And
What way did he abuse you?
how?
Yeah, what kind of abuse?
Sexual?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
He was a cop.
yeah. He worked at the Rampart station, and I don't know if it was so much that. I mean, the abuse that was bad, but it was the exposure of the abuse that really changed my life. Like it was just my little secret before, but then after like my parents took me to counseling or whatever, they knew something was wrong, and so they brought it out of me, and I eventually told the counselor what was going on, and then that turned into him getting in trouble and all that stuff, and I just that led to like a lot of thoughts and weird stuff with me, like because I'm like, am I gay? Am I not gay? What's going on? Um, and do my parents think that? Or I mean, what do they think? And so like the exposure of it was a lot more damaging to me than the actual abuse, you know.
Did he ever get caught?
Yeah, he got caught. He got fired. He moved out of LA. I think last I heard he was in North Carolina or something. But he actually, okay, so I moved to Utah, and he actually came out to Utah and paid me like some money to what's it called when they write a statement that says it didn't happen. And of course, I had a family then. I had a 2-year-old son, and I was trying to survive. So I did it, but I don't think anything ever happened with it. But um, yeah, he tried to save it all. But we never went to court or anything. But he did get fired. He got fired, and yeah, I think he's a real estate agent or something now. But it was kind of messed up how he did it. It wasn't like all at once. It's just like we were just wrestling around or something one day, and then he just grabbed my stuff, and then it just went from there. And then for a long time I was like, am I gay? Am I gay? I don't know. Is it bad? So right now I just have problems with that in my life, like reflecting on who I actually am, like sexually, I guess.
How far did you in school?
um I went to high school. I dropped out in the junior year. I dropped out in the junior year, but when I did get in trouble in Utah, and so I had to go to prison, and I finished my high school diploma there, and I also became an electrician at that same time through the program they have out there in Utah, and that was actually a good thing for me. I mean, being an electrician is the best skill I've ever had because I can like go anywhere and work anywhere, and everyone's got an electrical problem, and so that's actually how I've been surviving lately. You know,
You've been living on the streets for how long?
it's been about 10 years, I think, and about minus 2 years I've been in SRO. I mean, it's not living on the streets, so it'd be about 8 years.
Yeah. What drugs kind of took hold at what point in your life?
Um, I'd say like after my son was born, like I was 19 when I had him, and her parents basically told me like, hey, you gotta get a job and support your daughter and your son, and so I did it. I got a job. I was digging ditches, running sewer lines and stuff, and got an apartment and held it down. And then we went through about 3 years after that. We went through a breakup, and um, that's when I really kind of started falling into drugs, and then I think 5 years after that, wound up in prison, and so
What was that for?
it was for manufacturing meth and
Mm.
fraud and a bunch of stuff, high speed chase and stuff. I did 3 years out there, and then um, got out, and I did phenomenal. It was 10 years before I got in trouble again, so I was pretty happy with that. And then that was like a hit and run that I got in trouble for, and
Do you blame crystal meth for all the trouble you got into and the situation you're in now?
absolutely.
And if you go back a layer deeper, would you stem that from the child abuse, sexual abuse?
I think so. I think I've had a hard time dealing with it, and I I don't know if so much if it was the sexual abuse or if it was the exposure of the sexual abuse, because
When the story came out,
yeah, because then it was like real, like it was, and everybody knew, and then so I kind of didn't like that part about it.
it was just embarrassing.
Yeah, I felt embarrassed, yeah, and plus I didn't know like what other people actually thought of me, and I've had a hard time with that for a while, and I don't know. My son, my son recently passed away because of fentanyl. So
I'm sorry.
yeah, it's been really tough for me, and um, I don't know. It just sucks. It sucks that I couldn't show him like a better path than like he just saw like what his parents were doing. It's like I don't know.
What's your biggest fear now?
That was my biggest fear.
Mm.
And it came true. My biggest fear now, I don't know. Um,
How old is your son?
he was 25. And like I totally blame his mom too, but I shouldn't. It's me. Like I don't know. But that's been really, really, really tough. This was like 3 months ago that he passed away, and I just barely like got the ashes back and stuff. So it's been really tough. He was living in Utah with his mom, and I don't know. I just feel like I didn't do enough to help him, man. The fentanyl stuff's crazy. Like I don't know. I'm not. I don't like it at all. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like to do a drug where you could potentially die. Like, that's like just doing poison and like thinking you can get high off it. It's really pointless to me. But it's like big with the younger generation. I don't get it. I don't know.
What's your biggest regret in your life?
My biggest regret is not is being stubborn and not working it out with my ex and sticking it out and being a family. Like it eventually led to me being more of a drug addict and her being more of a drug addict and my son being more of I mean, family is like so important. I think it's like it's just it really is to me. I think it's and of course like what's messed up is my dad kind of like started his own family, because he got married again, and then they had kids. She had kids, and then he moved away and was with them and stuff. And then I'd come over on the weekends and stuff, and that was really hard to deal with too. Like seeing like him have like this whole other family, and then me put on the side burner and stuff. So yeah, my biggest regret is definitely that, and being addicted to meth, crystal meth.
How do you support yourself now?
I do the GR and like odd jobs and stuff. Under I work for like the markets around here, like fixing outlets or putting in security systems or something. Get paid under the table or whatever but I basically just use all that money to get high with.
Have you tried to get clean?
No, not recently. I mean, I had a 7-year period in my life where I was clean and sober, and I did phenomenal. I got my driver's license back. I got clean. Me and my wife bought a house, but the drugs just kept bringing me back to the meth. I just can't get over it. Like, because like I told you before, I remember being high when I was younger because I was a hyperactive child, and they had me on Ritalin, all sorts of stuff at 10 years old. Man, I remember being so high that I couldn't sleep, and I just remember that same feeling. I have that same feeling, remembering on the medicine that I do when I get high, and so it feels like normal to me. I feel normal when I
Do you
get
feel
high.
like the psych meds kind of open the door for
I do. I think.
narcotics?
Yeah, I think maybe we shouldn't be doing that when like the people are so young. Like that's a lot. I don't know. That's just I'm not really qualified to talk about it, but I do feel like that.
And what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned?
Um, the most important lesson that I've learned is to not be angry and to not hold a grudge, and because life's too short to like be mad at someone about something stupid. Like, I mean, if you love that person, like, don't be like stubborn. I mean, like I was with my son. I never got to say goodbye. I never got to say, it's really tough for me. Um, he was. I had so many plans and stuff for us in the future. Like, yeah, that's tough. It's talking about that. I haven't really even talked about it because I can't even believe it, dude. I just can't believe it. I can't believe it.
All right, Joe. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
I wish you lots of luck from here.
Thanks.
Thank you.